What's up, folks? You are tuned into the Failing Frequency. I am Ethan.
And I'm Mike.
And we like talking about Star Trek.
Yeah.
We're going to go through some of the latest in Star Trek news. We got toys, we got comics, we got whiny old bitches.
Yeah.
And we got the latest episode of Star Trek Prodigy. What's it called again?
Prelude.
That makes sense.
Thank God I remembered it.
I know. You know, someone's got it. That makes sense.
And time codes below for skipping through the to the news or to the episode.
But before we get into any of that, how you doing, Mike?
Yeah, I'm living the dream. I'm very happy that we're going to sit down, talk Trek, and talking Trek with friends and beer. What can be better? Hey?
Same. Yeah.
How about yourself?
Well, you may be living the dream, but my life every day is a waking nightmare.
Yeah.
But it's all right because, the joy in life can be found in the little things. Like the yearly Spotify Wrapped Roundup.
Yeah.
I got mine yesterday, and it made me chuckle. It made me chuckle, Mike. Did you? We were talking before. Did you get yours up?
So I couldn't get up my. This is all your metrics or whatever, but I've got the most listened to songs up.
What are some of your like standout songs from the year?
I mean, from the year is going to be the interesting part in that my number one song is Willie Nelson, Always on My Mind. So
hey,
the Elvis cover, fantastic cover, just a bit sad.
Oh, definitive, one might say. Yeah, no, absolutely. Who doesn't love Willie Nelson, man?
So a bit of Willie Nelson, a bit of Johnny Cash, The Highwayman, Childish Gambino. I lead to Childish Gambino, Stones, Springfield, Dylan, Stevens. I'm an old person, really.
Right on, man. Yeah, I've definitely got like all of that on vinyl.
Yeah.
But yeah, God, I've got some variety on mine. My number one listened to artist was Seatbelts, the people who did the soundtrack for Cowboy Bebop, closely followed by Prince. Speaking of Prince, that piece that I recorded for Andy, he put that out the other day. So yeah, if you want to hear my opinions on the Prince soundtrack for the Batman 1989 movie, head on over to The Great Derelict and check that out. If you don't know what I'm
4 or 5,
if you don't know what I'm talking about when I talk about the Prince Batman 1989 soundtrack, then
it's fantastic. People push back on it, but I think it's better than, for the time, it's better than most soundtracks.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's hardly in the film, and the best song on the album isn't on the film, but like, God, could you imagine if that soundtrack was in that film?
Yeah.
Gosh. Yeah. But yeah, if you want to hear my thoughts on that and some other people's thoughts on some other great movie music moments, go check that out.
Linked below.
But yeah, the thing that kind of blew me away on my Spotify Wrapped. So top songs: "Drugs" by Tia Verde, great song. 35 by Rob Ruha and Kahal. It's sung. They're all Maori. Number 3, "Shake Your Ass" by Mystical.
Shake your ass. What? Just not that one.
Yeah, no, that one.
That one. Okay. Bloody hell.
I have not listened to that song that much, surely. How can it...
It's just a sexy time song, obviously.
It's just, like, I'll tell you what it is. I think what it was is, it was... I think I liked it quite recently. And so whenever I hit, like, play on my Spotify, it played, like, first.
Yeah.
And then I would hit shuffle. But yeah, now if I share my fucking Spotify Wrapped, everyone thinks I'm fucking jamming out to "Shake Your Ass" every day.
I mean, it's only partially true. It's only partially true.
Yeah, I mean, it's not every day.
No.
I mean, it's definitely once a month. It's a fucking banger. It's one of the songs that I get in trouble for playing at work.
What? Out front? You can't play that out front. That's going to be in back. Yeah.
Yeah, in the bar, like on Sunday lunchtime.
Okay. Just as all the church folk come in.
Yeah. Do 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 do. Yep. Sunday roast.
Nice.
Fucking hell.
Oh dear. Right, but we've got track to talk about.
Yeah, man, we got some Star Trek to talk about.
Yeah.
It's
news like this week, I guess.
Yeah. So we're kind of picking the bones of it just a little bit. Den of Geek reports, Mike.
Cool.
One sec.
I like Den of Geek.
Den of Geek reports Terra Matalas has said that the next season of Star Trek Picard is going to serve as a continuation of both DS9 and Voyager. How does that sound to you?
It would be odd if it wasn't, considering there are characters from those series in it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He says, in my mind, I would have called it Star Trek Legacy. I mean, it is truly a Picard story. He is the focus, but the spirit of it is different than seasons 1 and 2, just because of what it is.
There was already something called Star Trek Legacy, and it was great.
What was it?
The Xbox 360 game.
Oh?
It's fantastic. It's the one Xbox 360 game that I've kept. I don't have an Xbox anymore, and the current Xbox is backwards compatible for every game that's ever come out, pretty much, except for that game.
What kind of game was it?
It's third-person ship combat, and there's a story that goes through from Enterprise to TOS to Next Gen to DS9 to Voyager, with all the voice actors back.
Cool.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
But yeah, no, that sounds good. Picard. It's about Picard. Picard's the main character, but there's a continuation of Voyager because we've got 7 of 9. It's also a bit of a continuation of DS9 because we've got Worf and maybe possibly hinting at some more DS9 related stuff, as well as all of the TNG characters.
And I think Janeway is still going to be in it.
Potentially Janeway's in it. Speaking of Picard, Jonathan Frakes was also speaking to Jonathan Frakes. Jonathan Frakes was talking to Den of Geek and said that Picard is also going to serve as potentially leading into a continuation of a Star Trek Next Generation sort of adjacent spin-off. He says, as you'll see by the end of the season, it's ripe for a continuation of some version of what we've established in the show. Not more Picard, but certainly Next Gen is alive and well. I can just picture him giving it a wing.
Yeah.
So as well as being the show about Picard and Voyager and DS9 and the TNG crew, and it's also going to potentially serve as a kind of an introduction to a TNG spin-off. Can you smell something?
I can smell him fishing.
Is it potentially the smell of too many things?
Slightly. It's also going to be the next generation in that it's got like Geordie's kids and stuff like that. It's setting those guys up. So it's like it's the end of Next Gen, and it's the next gen, and it's Voyager, and it's DS9. And they've got 10 episodes to do it or whatever.
And it's also going to have the next gen Star Trek babies.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, we're saying, you're saying maybe that's too much for a season, but Picard season 1 and Picard season 2 aren't necessarily crammed with story, are they?
No, but
not much happens.
No, what they lack in plot, they more than make up for in mood.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, sounds great. Like, yeah, if you want to, surely, if we're wanting all the Star Trek all the time, then surely at some point we're going to get too much Star Trek rammed down our face at once, and it's going to be sweet, but sickly sweet.
Yeah.
But that's fine. I'm half American. I grew up eating American candy. Like, I can deal with sickly sweetness.
Yeah. And I can't have too much Trek. I've tried.
But while we're on the subject of Picard, have you been keeping up with the Picard comics?
So yeah, in Comics Corner, this week there was Star Trek, the new ongoing series, the second issue of that. Mm-hmm. And last issue, Picard was saying about going to Klingon space to get stuff. And the interesting part of this, so I won't go through the whole story, but was seeing Worf again and meeting Worf. So cool. Still in his position as Federation ambassador.
Yeah,
and Martok is still Chancellor.
He's still, that's cool.
Yeah, but Martok doesn't have enough supporters, doesn't have enough houses supporting him. So Kalis...
Is it because of classism?
That and...
Is it because of
being a Federation sympathizer and being classist? They're not happy with him.
Oh, you know how I feel about classism and anti-socialist sentiment, Mike?
Yeah.
The fucking Tory bastards, the Klingons.
Yeah.
Sons of bitches.
They're talking about class and you want to take them to school, you know?
Honestly, just get me in a room with the fucking Klingon High Council and I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a thing or two.
Tell me.
I'll tell them.
Yeah.
I'll tell them what's what isn't.
So yeah, because Martok doesn't have enough supporters, Kalis is now in charge, the clone of Kalis from TNG.
Awesome.
He's back in power. And he's anti-Federation and anti-all stuff like that. So nice. Worf gives up his role as ambassador and joins Sisko on his merry mission.
Oh, and is that when we get him in like all black, with the all black baldric with the Rob Liefeld pouches? Is that in the series, or is that not out yet?
That's not yet.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
What's he wearing?
Just Klingon garb, Klingon rubbish. Yeah.
One of them sleeveless numbers with the long sleeveless number.
Yeah, nice. Like a robe that goes like both ways.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love things that go both ways. Speaking of comics,
we've got a new one, haven't we?
Yeah, man. Star Trek have announced a new comic that I am like. This is the first comic that I am actually genuinely excited about. Partially because of the cover that they've released, which is really cool. It's a Star Trek sort of take on the infamous Watchmen cover by Dave Gibbons with the blood on the smiley face badge, but it's blood dripping down onto a comm badge.
Comm badge, yeah.
Cool as fuck. And the title of the series, Mike, are you ready?
Yeah.
Star Trek Day of Blood.
Day of Blood. Sounds very Klingon, doesn't it?
Sounds fucking sick, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited about this. Purely, literally, I know we shouldn't judge books by their covers. But judging this book by this cover, this book looks sick as fuck. Hey, that all kind of rhymed. So yeah, are you with me on this? Yeah. Are you with me or are you against me, Mike?
I'm with you. I was just reading it then, and it looks like it's a spin-off of the Star Trek Ben Sisko series. So yes. Yeah, I'm up for that.
Yeah, it's saying it's going to bring together the Worf who joined Sisko and the crew of the USS Theseus, with some other people on the Defiant or something. I don't know. I'm kind of speed reading it.
Yeah.
But yeah, looks again, like I say, just going by the cover, looks fucking cool.
Yeah, decent. That's what we like. They have been doing like some. They had some alternate covers for this issue of, number 2 I was talking about that were really good. That was just Sisko, pointing a phaser at you and just Data in like a psychedelic, Data's head floating in a psychedelic realm.
Yeah, cool. So like, obviously no spoilers, but like, how is the series so far?
It's good so far. It in some parts feels like it's a fan writing, oh, there's Sisko and he's joined by Bev Crusher and Data and Worf and Hoshi Sato's descendant and Montgomery Scott.
Does Hoshi Sato's descendant look like Hoshi Sato?
No, she's Andorian.
Oh, okay. Does it look like Hoshi Sato if she was Andorian?
Pretty much. It looks as much like Hoshi Sato as Bev Crusher looks like Bev Crusher. This issue, for whatever reason, they made Bev Crusher look like she was like 20. It was like, okay, whatever. Cool, fine.
Hey, man. Fair enough. Gates McFadden was a firestorm when she was younger.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I'm an adult. You an adult?
Sometimes legally, I suppose.
Yeah, man. But no matter how grown up you get, toys are kind of cool, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
Especially when you're looking at toys that remind you of your own youth. Playmates have announced a new lineup of really shitty naff like 90s action figures that look, honestly, I love these. So we've got Data, Riker, and Picard. We've got Spock and Kirk and Khan from Wrath of Khan. And we've also got Michael Burnham and Saru from Discovery. And I just think that's so cool. See, like, modern characters but in the shitty naff toys that we used to have when we were kids.
And they talk about in the article, they've got like previews for 2023, and it's the Prodigy kids. So you get to have like a little jank and pog piece of shit. Piece of shit toy, not necessarily piece of shit character.
No, man, how are they going to do Murph? Or they could just do like Slime. Remember Slime?
Yeah.
Remember that gloop that you used to get with those weird fucking alien egg babies?
Yeah. Or the ones that you throw at the window, like the army men that throw at the window and then they just go like...
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be sick. So some of the toys have got some fun little accessories. My favorite one, of course, being Spock's action figure comes with the radiation gloves that he wore when he died.
Yeah. Just to live through those happy memories, to play through that happy memory.
Fucking love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, looks awesome.
Yeah. Did you have these when you were growing up then? Like the
I had some toys like this. I never had a Star Trek toy like this, but I had a lot of toys like this that were all kind of naff, some of which you could easily mistake for being in the same set.
Yeah.
I had some Star Wars toys like this. I had a couple of Space Precinct.
Oh yeah.
Space
Precinct 1999.
Just into my veins, mate. Just give it to me straight into my veins.
I love a bit of Jerry Anderson.
I am not. This is no Shatner face. Let me tell you, folks. This is no edition of Shatner face, but we do have some Shatner face gent. I tried to merge Shatner face and adjacent. Shatner adjacent face.
Yeah.
News. Because
Shatner
George
someone
Takei,
else's face.
Yeah. Someone else is Shatner our face today.
Yeah.
There we go. We got there.
There we go.
George Takei is currently promoting his play, Allegiance, a play that George Takei, at 85 years of age, is currently starring in. It's a play based on his life. And he took some time out of his busy schedule to talk shit about William Shatner.
Yeah.
Which is totally fair, considering, William Shatner was out shitting on everyone else's face, saying bad-mouthing George Takei, saying that George Takei was bitter and that he wasn't bitter and that everyone else loves him except him, and I'm not bitter, you're bitter, shut up. But I just want to read you this little excerpt from an interview. Takei is reluctant to talk about Shatner. I know
that's where it should have stopped. I'll just jump in. If you're an interviewer and you're like, "Oh, George Takei, Shatner has been shitting on you recently," and he's like, "I don't want to talk about it." That's where you as an interviewer should stop. Unless you're like TMZ, gossip magazine, like specialist or whatever. Yeah, sorry about that.
He says, I know he came to London to promote his book and talked about me wanting publicity by using his name. So I decided I don't need his name to get publicity. I have much more substantial subject matter that I want to get publicity for. So I'm not going to refer to Bill in this interview at all. He grins. Although I just did.
Yeah.
He's just a cantankerous old man, and I'm going to leave him to his devices. I'm not going to play his game.
But if you look up, like in the last week, on Google, you can put like the news tab and you put George Takei in. None of them are interviewing about his play. It is all George Takei says this about Shatner.
Yeah, did you hear what Bill said about you? What do you reckon? Otherwise, I wouldn't lower myself to talk about that fat bitch.
Yeah.
But if I did, I would say that sanctimonious old asshole can go fuck himself. But I won't say that.
Yeah. It's a poor standard of, journalism where you can that'll get more clicks. So you have to ask him and get his response from this poor old man who's trying to talk about how he was mistreated during World War II.
Yeah, that's the thing is, totally lowering the tone. Like the play is about the mistreatment of Japanese Americans during World War II. The people are lowering the tone as fuck because they know that George Takei is not gonna.
Yeah,
he just can't help himself. He's not. Yeah, he just can't help himself.
Yeah,
why break the habit of a lifetime? He's been talking shit about William Shatner since before either of us were born.
Yeah,
he's not gonna stop anytime soon.
No. Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to go see George Takei's new play Allegiance, it's they're in. Oh, they don't need the publicity, or maybe they do. I don't know.
I'll scroll across dates here or whatever, wherever it is playing.
You go check that out.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. That's the news.
Nice and quick news.
I did my best. Do you feel informed?
I feel informed. I feel informed, and I'm, as ever, glad we have a brief, merciful news segment.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
What can I say? It is the holiday season.
Yeah.
Things
powering down over. You've got to power down the warp core for the holidays.
Yes.
Yeah. But should we talk about the episode of the week, which is Prodigy Season 1, Episode 16, Prelude.
Season 1.
Yeah. Non-spoilers then. What did you think of the episode?
I like an episode. I like an episode.
Yeah, just an episode.
Yeah, sometimes, but sometimes it's nice instead of having like a whole episode. Sometimes it's nice to have a couple of little episodes. Like sometimes you want a whole pizza, but sometimes you see a plate of those like little mini pizzas, like a buffet, and you go, I think I'll have a few of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can have your Tales of the Batman or How I Almost Got Him or something like that.
Oh,
From,
great episode.
Batman
Now
animated.
that is a classic episode of
Yeah.
animated television. That is an iconic, top tier episode. This episode was fine.
This isn't that. Yeah. I think it's mostly serviceable. It's needed for, you know, backstories or whatever, but it feels it's very much like an episode off. You know, there's all action, and then this one it's like, okay, let's sit down and just talk to each other.
Yes, there was a moment when I was like, just for a brief second, and then I was like, no. Just for a fleeting second, where I was like, they're not doing a flashback episode.
Yeah, they're not doing what is it? Shades of Grey, season 1 of TNG.
Yeah,
is that it?
I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I could maybe do with a flashback episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I've got on my docket. I will try this weekend.
Not my thing.
I will try this weekend to make a timeline video for Prodigy, because we're filling it in.
For me to watch every week.
Yeah. So, this is what happened, by the way, Ethan.
Nice. That would be handy. A crib sheet.
Yeah, a crib sheet of how it fits around other series as well, because it's set in a period of time that is pretty busy in the Trek world.
Yes, especially now.
Yeah, getting busier and busier.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, we do learn some stuff in this episode. We definitely do get some backstory to a lot of things. I wouldn't necessarily say any of it kind of illuminates anything that much.
No, not
well,
much.
I mean, aside from one character, we do get full exposition on one character and just kind of fluff for a lot of other people.
Yeah, I've got in mind, there's a sweet one, there's a funny one, there's one that nothing happens in it all, and there's one that is just like series lore. So if you want to know about how Prodigy actually works, like the series, then you need to know that.
NSYNC.
Yeah,
like NSYNC. Justin Timberlake is the last one. And the rest of them.
Anyway, do we want to move on to the episode wrapped up and then the spoiler talk?
Hell yeah.
Cool. So while fixing the protostar, there's enough downtime for our heroes to talk through their origin stories. Rock talks about being a slave wrestler until she was sold to the Kazon. Zero talks about being captured by the Kazon. Pog talks about waking up early on a sleeper ship and then leaving to save the rest of the crew and being picked up by the Kazon. Meanwhile, on the Dauntless, Janeway finds out that the protostar crew aren't criminals, but kids hunted by someone called the Diviner. She goes down to the Diviner to ask if he knows what's going on, and finds Essentia as a Varna cat, and gets knocked the fuck out. Boom! She gets judo chopped.
She got judo. That's what I have written in my notes in block caps. Judo chop.
Judo chop.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like they say that they didn't join the Federation, and yet quite clearly the Diviner has studied the ancient noble art of Kirk Fu.
Yeah. It would have only been better if he like two-handed, like.
Oh man. Oh, he definitely should have two-handed fisted her.
Yeah. In any interpretation of that sentence.
Absolutely.
So what do we want to? Which story do we want to talk about first? Because fuck a load of the stories.
I mean, well, the first note that I've got is at the start of the episode. Janeway's like, "Who are these kids?
Yeah.
Who could they be? How have they gotten here? How have we gotten to this situation?" I just love the idea that like Janeway's thinking that these kids. Sorry, I'm burping loads. I'm a gentleman. I love the idea of Janeway sat there thinking about like just who are these slick maverick kids?
Yeah.
But like not considering that like they might just be stupid.
Yeah, and so amazingly convenient that her Andorian commander guy just brings in a subspace thing from outside the Federation that says, "Oh, someone's hunting these people."
Yeah.
They're called the Unwanted, and they're wanted. Someone called the Diviners after them.
Yeah, they're unwanted because they're stupid. It brought to me that old saying, which is something that I recite to people often. Never attribute to malice what can be more easily explained by incompetence.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And God knows the Protostar crew are incompetent.
Yes, God, yes. These kids are not dangerous.
Yeah.
They are just stupid like a fox.
Yeah, they're stupid like kids are.
Yeah.
That is
these kids are stupid and clumsy in a sort of Mr. Magoo kind of expert fashion.
Yeah.
Yeah. They fall upwards, but not in like a metaphorical career advancing sense. They literally fall upwards through situations.
Yeah. They are continuously lucky and only scraping by their somehow rough luck.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So do we want to talk about the lore heavy bit of it first then? The Deadless side?
I'd say maybe save that for the last.
Okay. What about getting rid of the shit one first then and talking Zero?
Yeah.
Okay.
To be honest, I kind of enjoyed Zero's story the most.
Really? I didn't think there was anything to it.
No, there wasn't anything to it, but I definitely had the most enjoyment laughing out loud and asking myself, why the fuck do Medusans need that ship?
Okay,
what does the inside of that ship look like?
That ship's from TOS remastered.
The same question.
Yeah.
Why do a bunch of floating balls of energy need a ship? Does the inside of that ship have like rooms and like
it's
levers and buttons to press? And
it's supposedly a Federation ship that's been outfitted so it is for floaty balls of gas or whatever. But who knows? Maybe if you're a floating ball of gas, maybe it takes you a long time to float from solar system to solar system. So you want to just hop on a starship so you can walk between them.
All right. Well, I mean, they're eternal. I wouldn't have thought that like speed was the kind of thing they'd be worried about. They're all immortal.
Yeah. They're immortal fart beings. Yeah. I did like the Kazon are all wearing the TOS terrible fucking glasses that are just like, this will protect me from any reflections. If you've got shiny boots, you're fucked. If anything shines up.
Yeah, I loved it. Goofy.
Yeah, real goofy stuff.
Yeah.
But I didn't think there was anything else to it, like their story at all, other than like, oh, I didn't have to talk to people. I could just communicate through thought, and now I'm stuck talking to you. It's like, oh, I'm so sorry, Zero. It's like,
yeah. I mean, well, like when Gwen's like, I had no idea. It's like, how did you think that this obviously like unique and rare creature, this beautiful energy being that was delivered to you in a crate, how do you possibly think that situation came about?
Yeah.
I had no idea. I thought that you loved being delivered in crates.
Yeah, I thought you volunteered to be a mind-wiping slave for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So easily my least favorite of the 4 stories. What if you like that one? What's your least favorite of the 4 then?
Jankum Pogs.
Jankum's I thought was funny at least.
Yeah,
it's the movie Passengers. The Chris Pratt, Jennifer.
Oh yeah, right. Okay.
It's just
less rapey.
Less rapey, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah, man. Can't imagine how that situation could have ended out with that droid.
Yeah.
Who would have been anyway?
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, I like that. Like, I thought it was pretty smart where he's like from pre-Enterprise or from Enterprise era, sent out on a sleeper ship.
Is that what that was? Because like I was kind of left a bit confused by Jenkin Pog's whole story because like I don't feel as though that fills in enough.
No, what I don't get is like he's talking about being a trainee and stuff like that on this sleeper ship, and it's like, but you know absolutely nothing about the Alpha Quadrant. Like you think you're royalty just because you're Tellarite. So did you get hit on the head multiple times when you're going into stasis or something?
Yes.
So his story is.
I'm just sorry. I'm just saying like that statement that you just made is officially canon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like he talks about like they sent orphans or whatever or like runts out on deep space sleeper ships before the Tellarites were in the Federation. So that must have been pre the end of Enterprise.
Okay.
And the ship in there is featured in Enterprise in some of the, 1 or 2 episodes. So Tellarite ship, sleeper ship gets sent out into the Delta Quadrant for whatever reason to, expand land territory, find stuff, set up a colony so Tellarites in the future can go there. And his ship fucks up and it wakes him up to fix it, like the movie Passenger.
Yeah. Yeah, I just kind of like the Jenkin Pog can fix it. They said he repeated it too many times.
Did you not find it funny though? Like where it's like
I found it funny, and then he repeated it 5. Like it was
okay,
funny.
It went past
3 times.
Funny.
5 times was pretty funny, and then he repeated it another 5 times, and it went past funny.
Okay, I see that.
Yeah.
But it also had like the 2 other funny bits in it where it was, oh, this is broke, and he goes to fix that. And this is broke, and he goes to fix it. And it's like, oh, the toilet is blocked. It's like, I'm not fixing that. And then you see him unblocking the toilet anyway.
Yeah.
And then when he's got to leave and he's leaving to save the 29 other crew members of this sleeper ship. And he says, tell them, it was me, Jenkin Pog, who saved them all, and not to worship me as a hero or do whatever. And then the machine that's been fucking up is just like, please state your name.
That was
I thought that was funny.
He's just like, what was funny about that was him just like, do you know what? Fuck it, fuck you, fuck this, I'm off.
Yeah, and it's also like I also liked it because it's like it's an origin story for him being an engineer as well, rather than just like the other 2. Well, I suppose Rox has a bit of that, but Zero's it doesn't get it doesn't show you why she wants to be a medical engineer of the Protostar.
Maybe when he woke up out of the sleep, he imprinted on engineering.
Yeah.
Kind of like when a baby animal imprints on their mother.
Yeah.
Or like when Jacob from Twilight imprinted on that baby.
On that baby. That horrible, horrible baby.
Yeah. Jenkin Pog loves engineering in the same way that Jacob loves that baby, which is to say, it's kind of inappropriate.
Yeah. He's going to wait until it suddenly ages up so he can sleep with it. Until then, he's just going to be its best friend.
Yes. He's going to wait until engineering is 18.
Yeah. What's your next favorite of the Protostar crew origins?
I really actually rather enjoyed Rock's backstory. I love the idea of Rock being a
pretty much like
Rock was in the WWE.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's Rock Talks music.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Rock is coming to the ring.
Just coming out, walking out like that proper that walk. Yeah. And decides that she doesn't want to do it anymore because she's scaring people rather than, being their friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you think of the dude that she was performing with, her partner? He
I like
seemed
that.
like
The friendship between them. I don't know.
Yeah.
First like light or laser sword I can think of in Trek.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, same. I have that written here. So that's what a Star Trek lightsaber looks like.
Yeah. Even if it's just a show one, it gives you. It's all interesting. The kids must think it's real, so there must be real ones in the universe.
Yeah. When at the start of it, I thought it was going to be more kind of like a Russian bear, and it's their owner, kind of thing, and that like Rock was gonna like just flip out and like snap that guy in half and kill everyone and just like smash their brains in, and I was like, fuck yeah.
Just have 15 incredibly gruesome minutes in the middle of this kid show.
Yeah, man, that would have been so cool. But yeah, no, I at first I thought that this guy that she was with was going to be like her slaver, but it turns out he was also a slave in a way. And yeah, I like how and that you kind of that moment dawned on me at the point in which and it's a great example of good improvisational skills. Where Rock comes out, she's not really feeling the vibe of the fight scene, and then he falls over and they laugh, and immediately he's like, haha, let's turn this fight scene into some fucking slapstick comedy, and immediately they just kind of go with it. So and he's giving him giving Rock the wink. I like that whole thing.
Especially as like two characters that can't communicate, so they don't have universal communicators or whatever, so they can't speak each other's language, but they kind of like know to wink at each other and be like, "Yeah, come on, let's do this."
So at the end of the episode, when Rock and presumably this dude's owners sell Rock off, it's really sad. You see Rock had a partnership with this guy. It was that was the one that actually had some weight to it.
Yeah, and I've started hoping we'll meet the hero again in the future.
Same. Yeah. I hope that Rock meets her fellow freed slave, hopefully,
or can free him and use the universal translator to have a chat with him, to talk to each other and be friends.
Discuss the fundamentals of improvisational comedy.
Yeah. Then we're just on to the last one then, which is the Diviner and Ensign Essentia, who's actually the Vindicator. Talk about WWE names.
Vindicator! Oh my God! It's The Rock versus the Vindicator!
Yeah. So this is a hell of a lot of backstory in this one. It sets up. So
sorry. Just before you get into it, I can't believe that this joke only just dawned on me. If you smell what Rock is cooking.
There we go. Very nicely done.
Right.
So we find out.
Edit that in somewhere where it fits, or leave it where it is.
I'll do something with it. So we find out the Vindicator, Ensign Essentia, and the Diviner used to be the same age, and they both went back in time at the same point, but came out at different times. So while he's been hunting for the protostar for years, she's only been around for free and probably took over someone's life just to get on the one ship that is hunting for the protostar as much as she wants it, which is pretty smart of her.
Yeah,
pretty smart of her.
Kind of, very reminiscent of Star Trek 09, how the Narada and the jellyfish came out of the red matter wormhole at different points of time. Really great examples of so much wibbly wobbly.
Wibbly wobbly stuff.
So much wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey stuff.
Yeah.
It kind of straightened out some things in my mind with the diviners people and their past of like, they are from the future. And like by the time the protostar gets there, they have already like had a negative experience with the Federation. So the protostar isn't their introduction to the Federation, which is something that confused me.
It does fill us in, doesn't it? Because the protostar was left after or left before they have a run-in with the Federation, but Chakotay goes through a timey-wimey, portally-waterly thing, gets spit out, and they just take his ship, capture his people, and take his ship.
Yeah.
Which presumably means Chakotay is dead or stuck in the future.
Yeah. Stuck in the future, presumably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wait, no, that's totally where he is. He's stuck in the future.
And stuck in a future of a timeline that, possibly doesn't exist anymore. So he's possibly dead or not existing in any case.
We don't know if that's how entropy works in Star Trek.
Yeah. He could be he could be in a split off like timeline like 09 is as well. But it's interesting that it's like, Chakotay just sent his ship back in time because he knew he couldn't get onto it himself. It's like, okay. Then you're still surrounded by hundreds of dreadnoughts and like diviner people.
Yeah, but he's Chakotay. He'll have just like got up and gone like got his mitts up. Like, come on then. Come on.
I know how to box.
Yeah, man, I can box. Let's fucking do this dreadnought.
Yeah.
Just flattens him.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, so much great wibbly wobbly. So they go into the future and then like they get there. Imagine that, like you get there and they're like, well, we seem to have time traveled, but here's some new people. Let's go out and meet new life. Yeah. Hello, we're from the Federation. And they're just like, pew, 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 pew.
You bastards.
Federation sons of bitches.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit.
Oh no.
And then they send the ship back and it goes even further back. And then they all go back, but they don't go back as far, but they go back in different times. So much great wibbly wobbly. Time is a flat circle. Fucking like dipping in and out of it. Fourth dimensional stuff. I love it.
I reckon there's going to be a third one of the Vanacamp as well.
What do you think they're going to be called? The Eradicator. I'm calling the Eradicator.
Wrestling names. Yeah, keep going on the wrestling name thing. But like when they're standing up to like look through look at the protostar, there's three of them standing next to each other. There's the Vindicator, there's the Diviner, and then there's this dude in a mask. And I'm just like
the Eradicator. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
The Eradicator. That's what he's going to be called.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Other thing I noticed when they're talking about their actual first contact with the Federation, like that turns them against the Federation. So they meet some Federation and they have 50 years of civil war, whether to join the Federation or not. It looks like it's a Prometheus ship, from Voyager.
Right. Okay. I thought you meant from Prometheus.
Not from Prometheus. It's not that, thankfully. So I'd love to say nailed when it happens, but in Enterprise, I think when Archer travels to like the 30th century or something like that, there's a Prometheus there as well. So it happens some point. There's a long span of time that it could be the Federation meeting this backwater planet.
Yeah, I think it's kind of telling of when we talk about like the Federation and the kind of the valid criticisms of colonialism and like gentrification and forced homogeneity. That accusations like that get levied against the Federation. I think it's quite telling that like the Federation makes contact with these people, and then they start having a civil war, and the Federation's like, never mind, and then
we're not going to pick a side.
Like, I'll tell you what, forget about it. And then they fuck off, and these people fucking destroy each other while the Federation is just like, well, the Federation doesn't even look back in on them. Chakotay happens to land there when he travels through a temporal anomaly. Like, as far as they know, 50 years go by and the Federation caused this massive conflict and hasn't fucking checked up on it.
Yeah. And you know what it reminded me of as well? It's lessons clearly not learned, or like you haven't learned the good part of the lesson. Do you remember the pilot or the first episode of Strange New Worlds? Where there's two warring factions on this Earth-like planet, and then Pike is going like, oh, you want to know who's got the bigger stick? I've got the bigger stick. I'm the Federation. The Enterprise is outside your window. You're either going to go in a civil war and turn out like or you're going to, not. And this planet just, the Vannekamp.
I think we'll do a civil war, actually. Thank you.
Civil war, please.
Yeah, I think we'll do that, actually. Yeah.
I'd quite like that civil war. It sounds interesting.
Well, to be honest, to me, it was quite reminiscent of, it just made me think about partition. The partition of India and Pakistan after British colonial troops pulled out. It's a valid criticism, a fairly spot on analogy, and one of those chapters from history that like I am to this day fuming that I wasn't taught about in school.
Yeah, you've got to learn about the Tudors. You've got to learn about the Tudors again and again.
Really? You don't think we should learn about any of the atrocities that we did in the previous 100 years?
No, Tudors, they had good flags. Learn about them. White flag and a red flag. There you go.
I mean, okay.
War of the Roses.
Like a bunch of my Pakistani and Indian friends all know about it, and they all seem to be looking at me like really rough. Oh, wait, are they the Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They're not us. We didn't do anything. Okay.
What did they know about the War of the Roses? Let's turn this around.
Hey, man, I'm from Yorkshire.
Yeah.
I'm still sore about that. But yeah, no, it's I learned about partition from Doctor Who.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there is a thing with the Federation. There is a criticism about the Federation that you hear quite a lot. It's you can see it in
you think in DS9 the insidious, it gets into you, it's clawing,
it's clawing at you. And meanwhile, again in DS9 you have, Cisco talking about how people on Earth at the core of the Federation don't care about everyone else's in the outer reaches problems because they live in paradise.
Yeah. They don't even, it's not even that they don't care, they just don't understand what a problem is. They're like, oh, what do you mean you can't just like eat constantly? What do you mean if you're a Marquis, you sometimes just get bombed from the sky? We don't understand that. We have we go and eat jambalaya from Cisco's.
You have in Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock, you have some scenes with Krug, talking about valid criticisms of the Federation, wanting to make everyone like them.
Yeah.
And people wanting to rebel against that. And then you have Lower Decks, highlighting the very real and quite clearly very fucking important idea that the Federation makes first contact with people and doesn't necessarily check up on them after they've, saved the day.
Yeah.
It definitely
Discovery does it with like the Klingons. The whole first season is the Klingons going, they they say they want peace, but what they do, if we have peace, then we're turning into the Federation. We've got to be Klingon and fight. It's just every series of Trek does a job of saying, like, maybe some races aren't fit for the Federation, but aren't the best fit for the Federation. They want to do their own thing. Yeah, and maybe not everyone wants to do your thing.
Yeah, and maybe, and on the flip side of that coin, maybe the Federation thinks it's a little bit better than it is.
Star Trek 5, they say it's a human-only club, which, back then, for makeup's sake, it was.
Yeah. Poor bloody Diviner's species, man. Just fucking caught up in the fucking, like, whirlwind of Federation. I was going to say geopolitics. What would be the word? Astropolitics?
Yeah, why not?
I like the sound of that.
Yeah. Works as a term. And we even learned that the Diviner was, like, positive for the Federation at the start. Which is interesting. There's, like, he has a fall from, not a fall from grace, but he has a fall of attitude from being pro-Federation to being like, my planet, civil war itself, there was no point of the Federation. We've got to stop them and kill them before that time.
Well, I mean, it seems pro his planet. And if at the time he'd have thought that, joining the Federation would have been a good thing, then he would have supported it. And for all we know, joining the Federation might actually have been a good thing. But instead of doing that or not doing that, they did a civil war.
Yeah.
We'll never know.
Yeah. Sad times. Yeah, but you know what this episode was truly missing?
What was this episode missing?
So at the end, they talked to Hologram Janeway, and they've all been talking about their origin stories. And they asked Janeway what her origin story is, and she just talks about, like, Molly the dog.
Yeah, she mentions Molly. I was like, what the fuck?
Fuck Molly. I just want, like, everything all at once. Everything everywhere all at once, where it goes through, like, loads of things. It should have done that with, like, Janeway through Voyager episodes, being like, oh my god, this animated Janeway. Defeating the Borg, cool. Defeating the Kazon, defeating the Borg.
That'd have been cool.
Yeah.
It could have started off, or she could have started off in December 31st, 1999 with Janeway's ancestor.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
She could have started off like, well, I began as a scan of a Starfleet captain in a quaint little Irish town of Fairview.
Yeah. I deleted the wife.
Yes. I was the computer scanned Janeway's body to fit her for a dress, and that's when the first, like, frame of my being came about.
Yeah. Yeah. If only it was that. I just thought, like, I don't care about Molly the dog.
How does Molly the dog have anything to do with Hologram Janeway? How does Molly the dog have anything to do with the origin story of Hologram Janeway?
Yeah. So dumb. Because, like, I think she only had Molly the dog for, like, 2 years anyway.
Yeah.
In the, like, she left Mark, maybe? With Molly the dog.
The scumbag.
Mark the scumbag.
Scumbag. She was lost in the Delta Quadrant for 20 minutes, and he moved on to some other random slut. Yeah.
He's, like, married by the time they make contact 3 seasons, like 3 years down the line. He's like, no, I was desperate. I was going to get married if you were gone for more than, like, 2 days, honestly. I had a line of women ready to go.
My mate.
Yeah.
Janeway's my mate. Yeah. And I don't like you, Mark.
You're not a good guy, Mark. And all those times, like, early on where she had chemistry with Chakotay, she could have, like, been hitting that.
Yeah, but she was like, no, Mark. Mark. Bastard.
Yeah, bloody Mark. I bet she didn't even get, like, one of the puppies from Molly's litter. when she got back. Bloody Mark.
Probably got, like, I hope she got him back. Maybe that's the origin. Just like Janeway gets Molly back from Mark, and then she's like, well, what should we do now? And Molly looks at her and she's like, we should make a hologram.
Yeah.
We should make a hologram, Catherine.
Fucking Scooby-Doo dog. Say, if hologram Janeway can like make holographic cups of tea or whatever, she could make a holographic Molly to just kick around the ship as well.
Yeah. So are we calling this episode filler?
Yeah.
This is filler.
Well,
this is thick, meaty filler.
I don't think it's filler.
Hearty filling.
Because of like the not necessarily most of our guys' origin stories, but the Diviners one.
What about the ham hock sandwich that you can get from Tesco? It's got a big, thick helping of filling.
I'd love to eat that sandwich all the time, but it's like in their like higher class range.
Yeah,
I don't normally buy from their higher class range.
Yeah, I would call this episode the Tesco's ham hock sandwich of filler episodes for sure. Like because it's a hearty filling, but it's filler.
Yeah, I think it's like downtime, but like backstory downtime. Yeah. But it's fine enough for an episode. I think you need to watch it or eventually watch my video on the actual timeline if you want to understand where Prodigy is and what it's doing and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe I'll like get a pencil and I'll write the rough timeline of Prodigy on the pencil so I can cheat when we record.
I can imagine you having like writing it on your arm there just so you can do this like midway, like Memento style. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe
I should just start doing that anyway. This week's episode of Star Trek Prodigy Masquerade.
Yeah. It was by a miracle that I remembered this episode's name, and that, I wouldn't have remembered it if it wasn't like Prelude and just about origin stories. So, yeah. But yeah, that's our episode of the day. I think we're fine done talking about that, really.
But like this episode did get me thinking. Usually at this point in the episode, you ask me what was the message of this episode, and like, can you say that there's a message to this episode?
See, first run through, I didn't. My note was there even a lesson this week? My second run through, I put, is group therapy good? As a note,
I don't know. I've never done that one.
Yeah, that was the only note I had, though.
If judging by any like group therapy scene from any movie or episode of television ever, I can categorically say I'm not up for that.
Not suited.
No, I don't think I fancy that. It's not so much opening up as I think I would struggle to stay quiet.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's why we do a podcast.
But this episode got me thinking, because at the start of the episode, we had Dal talking about just finding out that he's an augment. He's found out that he's an augment, and like augments are becoming a thing in Trek now, aren't they? There's a lot of online discourse about Bashir having been genetically augmented as a child. We had Una being outed as an Illyrian, as well as the augment character. What's her name?
Brought Rebecca Romaine
in Strange New Worlds. Not Una, the red shirt.
Oh, La'an.
Thank you.
Noonien Singh. Yeah.
La'an Noonien Singh. Now we've got Dal. Trek Movie put out an article, either, probably today, discussing how, like, in a lot of ways, augments have, being presented in New Trek as being kind of like the last real prejudice that the Federation has, Back in my day, we had so many prejudices. We had everyone was prejudiced about everyone, but nowadays we just have the one, and it's augments.
Yeah, I was saying to Green Room again that I don't think that's like 100% right. That I think Trek is still held up about AI.
Yes.
So like, unless your data AI is like not great, if you're like the lower decks automated ships, or if you're peanut butter, or if you're what is Agmus, or if you're
Armus.
Armus.
No, Armus is black goo.
Yeah. Or if you're like the villains in Discovery Season 2 or Picard Season 1, it's all like these artificial like beings.
You see, the thing is, like, so basically, like,
which I'm being racist calling them artificial beings, of course.
Well, you see, the thing is, because like what I was thinking about today, I was trying to think of like real world analogs to the kind of thing that augments are facing, and I guess with the AI, the real world analog would be AI, because there are a lot of people that are shit, and like a lot of the storylines around AI goes bad are based on projected real life fears.
The Matrix.
Terminator. Chappie. Well, Chappie was a good guy.
I know Chappie the film was a bad guy.
Oh no, man. Oh, but Chappie was a good guy. It was Man that was the monster.
Yeah.
And anyway, Man is the monster.
Yeah.
And like, it got me thinking a lot about, at one point in the history, have we had a group of people that are subjugated or discriminated against due to a perception of them having subjugated everyone else, or due to a perception of them currently subjugating everyone, potentially from the shadows, from some kind of shadow government,
some sort of cabal.
From some sort of cabal.
Yeah.
And like, is the Federation anti-Semitic? Is the Federation run by David Icke?
In the framing that you've got there, yes, but it's clearly not the intended framing. We're not saying the writers are.
No, but I mean, like that's the thing. Like, throughout Star Trek history, members of the Federation, members of Starfleet have gone out and they've met aliens that have served as metaphors for real world, moral issues. And in some way, is the Federation's distrust of augment potentially serving as as a metaphor for the real world issue of growing anti-Semitism that is rife?
In my opinion, Trek from like TOS on has had this point about if you want something, you've got to achieve it yourself, and there's no way out of hard work. There's ways that you can help yourself, but if something looks like a shortcut that is too easy, it probably is too good to be true. So when TOS is all about miners struggling on a planet, and that's good for society, and the M5 machines running starships and going out is bad, because it's human point to explore. And augments, they're kind of cheating, and they surpass themselves, and they were after pure-blooded stuff. And although you're saying about are they anti-Semitic like viewpoints, I think the TOS augments and Khan was supposed to be a reflection of Nazis at the time who were pushing for, way back then. It's easy for us to forget that. I forget the term for it, but ensuring proper breeding, let's say.
Eugenics.
Eugenics, there we go. Why can't I remember that name? It's fucking war.
It's the name of the eugenics war. What was the thing that was the subject of the eugenics war?
Eugenics. Oh, yeah. It's all about having the perfect breed of person, and Trek is against that as well, and thinking there is a perfect breed of person. Yeah. So it gets weirdly hung up with, and it gets weirdly hung up with not fixing people or not helping people genetically. So when Deanna's kid has a problem or is going to have a problem, they're still iffy about fixing her child. And then the episode only really goes into being B'Elanna.
Right, okay.
But they only say, B'Elanna's going way off the deep end when it goes into her wanting less Klingon features on her baby, which is, pretty disgusting anyway. But it starts off with still being iffy about her fixing this genetic defect. And with Bashir, he has a learning difficulty, or he had a learning difficulty that could have been helped along through genetic augmentation. Not maybe to the extent that he did do, but it's weird of the Federation, in my opinion, still to be like, no. I tell you what, you're going to suffer, and you're going to be mute, or you're not going to be able to know your left from right. Even though we could help you along that.
Yes, you're a surgeon known around the galaxy, but if we have our way, you're not going to be able to sign your own fucking name. Yeah.
Yeah. Or count up to the number yellow, that sort of thing.
See, that's the the logical, and that's the very dark but logical extent of the thing, because we've spoken about this before, and you've said something along the lines of the superior breeding, it produces superior intellect and superior ambition.
Yeah.
But
which is direct quote. It's not from me. It's a direct quote from Trek. Somewhat point. Yeah.
But characterizing a group of people as that's that's a gross generalization.
Yeah. And from one war in Earth's past, it's like, no, this is too dangerous. We can't allow anyone in the Federation to do this. And it's like, okay, but there are races like the Elorians who've been doing it for longer than the Federation have been around, probably, and have been completely fine with it. And theirs is more moral because they're just genetically augmenting themselves to fit to a certain environment rather than bending an environment to your will,
Yeah.
So it's still a very weird thing for Trek to be hung up with.
Yeah.
And I think that's displaying in the stories now that there wasn't that nuance in TOS, whereas Bashir brought a bit of nuance in there with being a look, I wouldn't have been able to count, I couldn't tie my shoes, but now I'm a world-renowned doctor. But also I have to hide that I'm, could hit a dartboard from 50 meters away, throwing a dart. No. And then doing the same in Voyager with B'Elanna's kid, and doing with the Elorians now with Una, and doing the same with Dahl. There seems to be a mindset change. So I know the article on Trek Movie was saying it's a real hang up for Trek still, but I think that the attitude's changing. I think that's fair to say.
And I think I mentioned before we recorded that Some More News has a great video out at the minute. Good old Cody pulling his hair out about the idea of moral panics. And I think that that's a great idea to kind of attach to this. And it's a moral panic. It's like, oh, well, what if these genetically superior people start thinking that they're superior to us? And it's a weird sort of unnatural fear.
Yeah.
It is literally like saying, I don't know. It's people are so racist against black people, and they think that they're superior to them. But then, like, have you ever seen the NBA? Have you seen these big, beautiful, fucking ebony gods that are like so clearly oh, beautiful men?
Yeah.
And it's just like, how is this not better for society? How is
yeah.
I just like I feel like the idea of not wanting genetic augmentation in your population, it goes against infinite diversity and infinite combinations.
Yeah.
And it
parts of it do. If you have everyone
blood purity.
If you do genetic augmentation to make sure like everyone is blonde-haired and blue-eyed, then you're not doing it for diversity and inclusion's sake. You're doing it for the sake of making sure you've got the prettiest Aryan baby in the bunch, which phrased in that manner specifically for.
I tell you what the lasting idea that this whole thing has on me is the whole thing of, obviously Star Trek has had to sort of walk back a lot of things over the years, and has had to rewrite its own continuity. But the eugenics wars is so integral to the continuity of Star Trek that like we have to kind of try and get a resolution in mind. So it forces people to think, well, why might the Federation have a valid reason to not want augments? Oh God. Now I'm trying to justify eugenics in my own mind. Okay, let's walk that situation back. Let's make the Federation let's make the Federation's prejudice against augments a problem. Now, why is it a problem and why is it okay? And like, I just feel like it's a really tricky situation for Star Trek to have written itself into 50 years ago, that we are now having to allegory up its own arse.
Yeah. I think it still fit though, like in that when in the history of Trek, so 1980s, 1990s, augmentation became a big thing, and the first thing it was used for was war, making these genetically superior soldiers who were faster, stronger, more easy to fight, fighting each other, and with more aggressive attitudes. And what that did was make a Khan, and Khan-like people. And from then, the Federation has, pretty much had a attitude of, oh, if we allow stuff, then we'll get another Khan. And, which is fairly backward, because it's the humans inserting themselves into hundreds of races and going, I tell you what we did in our past, and you can learn from this. Your race of spacefaring people that were in space long before we decided to genetically augment each other, and probably had that capability long before we got into space. You need to stop doing that, because we did something bad in the past. And you go, well, just because you've done something bad in the past doesn't mean everyone's going to do it, or you're going to do it in the future.
Yeah.
Genetic augmentation is a tool rather than a weapon. Tools can be used for war, but they can also be used for, peace.
Yeah, man. I want to be genetically augmented. I want to be cybernetically augmented. I want a phone in my head. Just like this.
You want Neuralink. You want Elon Musk.
No, I don't want Elon
in your
Musk
head.
in my head.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. We've got Twitter. That's bad enough.
Yeah. Isn't it interesting talking about the slightly on from genetic stuff on the cyber augmentation? There's barely that in Trek as well. There's like the Borg, the main one, and then there's maybe one or two other species, and that's it. And that's another one where it's like it's dangerous. It's it's not great. Oh no, augmenting yourself.
It's fucking sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it could be worse. They could be like the fucking mods from Boba Fett.
Yeah. Think about it though. Like, even in the times of Voyager, no one has like a translator built into them. I don't think. Maybe they do.
Maybe one does, that Borg who created himself.
But like, I'm thinking for in the episodes where they get captured and their badges got taken off them, they can still sometimes speak the language. So maybe by then they do have.
Or maybe there's just universal translators there.
Yeah.
Who knows?
But you'd think that would be like, you'd shoot that into every baby. You'd just be like, okay, now you can just talk.
Yeah.
Fine.
They do it in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Did you watch the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special?
Yeah, I loved it.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I loved how they went to a gay bar.
Best MCU thing this year.
Yeah. I loved how they went to a gay bar and got shit-faced and had a great time, and Peter Quill wasn't there, probably because Chris Pratt is a massive homophobe.
Yeah.
Fuck him. And then they beat the shit out of a bunch of cops. It was awesome.
Yeah. Cops that are ready to shoot someone, like, just on, like,
just straight away.
20 meters away, and they're just like, bang, 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 bang. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Drax, he's got, like, very dark skin. So it will have just fucking opened up straight away.
But imagine if they were just cosplayers out seeing celebrities' houses late and they just shot people.
People have been shot holding Nerf guns.
Yeah. Buy a Star Trek Nerf gun. Be shot.
Yeah, man. It's great.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Right. Do we have anything else then? It sounds like we're coming to an end of that.
Yeah. I enjoyed that discussion.
Yeah. It's good discussion, Augments and augmenting people. Like, subscribe, tell a friend, do all that rubbish. All the things that any other YouTube channel that is more professional than us say. Do that.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, we're the bad boys of Star Trek podcasting.
In that we're bad at what we do.
And we swear too much.
Yeah.
Speaking of swearing too much, live long and prosper, motherfuckers.
And peace and long life, double dumbasses.